Okay. Here we go again. Actually, yeah, that's fine. So I decided to update my my layout a little bit. I decided after watching some of my videos from yesterday that I'm really more just doing political analysis. The gaming is really just something for me to do while I'm doing it. So I didn't think it needed to take up the whole screen, so we kind of inverted that. And of course, the only thing going on in the world right now is Iran. You know it, you love it. The story that just won't quit. And so I figured we'd start with just watching this video, or at least some of it. I didn't realize that Kegsbreath talked for like 45 minutes. Or at least it seems like maybe there's some other guy there too. But yeah, we'll just see what he's got to say about the goings on in the Middle East.
But under President Trump, we are finishing it. Their war on Americans has become our retribution against their Ayatollah and his death cult.
You got him.
It took the 47th president, a fighter who always puts America...
If it's a death cult, does that mean he won? Like, they killed him, and he was a part of a death cult. Isn't that, like, the whole goal of a death cult? I don't know, just something to think about.
First, to finally draw the line after 47 years of Iranian belligerence. He reminded the world, as he has time and time again, being an American means something unbreakable. If you kill Americans, if you threaten Americans anywhere on Earth, we will hunt you down without apology and without hesitation, and we will kill you.
What about those ICE agents? They were threatening Americans, and they killed a couple of us. Wait, is he going to go after him?
President Trump has also been very consistent. Crazy regimes like Iran, hell-bent on prophetic Islamist delusions, cannot have nuclear weapons.
Not like America. America has never relied on prophetic visions of like how to rule their society. No, like not the Christian Zionists. They don't believe some prophetic vision on how to live their life, or the manifest destiny. Nah. What's that? Never heard of it.
Common sense. Many have said it, but it takes guts to actually enforce it, and our president has guts.
He has
Iran's
so much
stubborn
guts, dude.
and
He's
self-evident
like
nuclear
400 pounds.
pursuits, their targeting of global shipping lanes, and their swelling arsenal of ballistic missiles and killer drones are no longer tolerable risks. Iran was building powerful missiles and drones to create a conventional shield for their nuclear blackmail ambitions. Let me say that again. A conventional
Nuclear
shield
blackmail.
for their nuclear blackmail ambitions. Our bases, our people.
I don't know. Is that better or worse type of blackmail than the Epstein pedo blackmail? I don't know.
Our allies, all in their crosshairs. Iran had a conventional gun to our head as they tried to lie their way to a nuclear bomb. It almost worked under Obama.
It almost
terrible
worked.
deal, but not under this president. Turns out the regime who chanted death to America and death to Israel was gifted death from America and death from
Yeah, they're all
This
dead.
is not a so-called regime change war. But the
That's what Trump literally called it. Like, what's he talking about?
regime sure did change. And the world is better off for it. Today, in their desperation, the enemy is unmasked. As Iranian missiles and drones rain down indiscriminately on the hotels, airports, apartments, and other civilian targets of their neighbors. Cowardly.
Again, I think that this just like, we live post like Israel's genocide in Gaza. This shit, like, I don't know. You're not winning any sympathy anymore. Like, it just doesn't work anymore. This kind of like hypocrisy, like, it's just too much hypocrisy.
Terrorist tactics from a regime that for decades has trafficked in cowardly terrorist tactics, lies, death, and destruction.
Not like us,
to
of
this day.
course.
The Iranian leadership has built nothing except proxies and missiles and drones and deeply buried nuclear factories and facilities. Peaceful nuclear ambitions do not need to be buried underneath mountains. Last June, Operation Midnight
They kind of do, though.
obliterated their nuclear program to rubble. Afterward, we told them plainly, that's it, now make a deal. They arrogantly refused. We said, rebuild it, and we'll stop you again, this time far worse. President Trump, Secretary Rubio, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, they bent...
How many beers in do you think he is? Like, today, I mean. Not lifetime. That would be, like, like, I don't even know if numbers go up that high, but, like, how many beers in do you think he is today?
Over backwards for real diplomacy, offering pathway after pathway to peace. I watched it. I was there. They tried...
I think it's pretty low this time. I mean, he's not slurring his words or anything, but then again, he's got a pretty high tolerance.
Over and over and over again, earnest attempts at peace. The former regime had every chance to make a peaceful and sensible deal. But Tehran was not negotiating. They were stalling, buying time to reload their missile stockpiles and restart their nuclear ambitions. Their goal, hold us hostage.
They were stalling. I thought we were stalling.
Our forces. Well, President Trump doesn't play those games. And as Secretary Rubio said after the Maduro raid, if you don't know, now you know. President Trump puts America and Americans first. He doesn't hesitate, and neither do our troops. The mission of Operation Epic Fury is laser focused.
Operation Epic Fortnite Chungus. I heard that one from Hassan. That's a pretty... that got me laughing.
Destroy Iranian offensive missiles, destroy Iranian missile production, destroy their navy and other security infrastructure, and they will never have nuclear weapons. We're hitting them surgically, overwhelmingly,
so
and
surgical.
unapologetically. With every
I mean, they're kind of right, though. It is pretty surgical. Like, it's hard to, like, accidentally hit, like, 2 schools, you know, like, immediately. Like, the first 2 shots, 2 out of 2 for school. Like, that's pretty precise. Like, he's not lying, I guess, in a sense, but...
Passing day, our capabilities get stronger, and Iran's get weaker. We set the terms of this war, from start to finish. Our ambitions are not utopian.
I don't think so, dude. Your daddy Trump, he was begging for a ceasefire. Like, there's been reporting on that. He thought that he could go in and just bomb them a little bit and just be able to stop whenever he wants. But Iran is saying, nah, we're just going to keep going. It's too risky for us to stop now because in the future it might happen again.
They are realistic, scoped to our interests and the defense of our people and our allies. Speaking of people, we hope the Iranian people take advantage of this incredible opportunity. President Trump has been clear, now is your time.
The true revolutionary, please rise up.
To Iranian security forces, choose wisely. President Trump has also been clear about your fate in either direction.
I think they've already chosen wisely.
To the media outlets and political left screaming endless wars.
Whoops. Oh, I think I sped it up a little more. That's fine.
Stop. This is not Iraq. This is not endless. I was there for both.
Yeah, it's not endless, guys. It's been 3 days. It's only been 3 days. Like, don't you know how endless things are? They can't go on. Like, I don't understand that line of argument.
Our generation knows better, and so does this president. He called the last 20 years of nation-building wars dumb, and he's right. That's
exactly what this is, though.
This operation is a clear, devastating, decisive mission. Destroy the missile threat, destroy the Navy, no nukes.
The missiles
Israel has clear missions as well.
The missiles, they're just all gone. Well, I don't know what all those things they're shooting at them are, though.
For which we are grateful. Capable partners. As we've said since the beginning, capable partners are good partners. Unlike so many of our traditional allies who wring their hands and clutch their pearls, hemming and hawing about the use of force. America, regardless of what so-called international institutions say, is unleashing the most lethal and precise air power campaign.
They're just admitting it now. You know what? I'm kind of glad, though. I'm kind of glad that they're just blatantly admitting, like, we're just not following international law anymore. Like, that shit, you know, that's pussy shit. Like, we're done with that. Like, it's kind of nice to at least they're being pretty honest about it, you know. That's kind of them.
Fighters, drones, missiles, and of course, classified effects. All on our terms, with maximum authorities. No stupid rules of engagement, no nation-building quagmire, no democracy-building exercise.
We'll see,
no
dude. It's only been 3 days.
Wars. We fight to win, and we don't waste time or lives. As the president warned, an effort of this scope will include casualties. War is hell, and always will be. A grateful nation honors the 4 Americans we have lost thus far and those injured.
I still don't know how they died. Like maybe that's been released somewhere. I don't know, but like I don't know where they were or how they died. I should probably look into that.
Of America. May we prosecute the remainder of this operation in a manner that honors them. No apologies, no hesitation, epic fury.
Epic
For
Fortnite
them and
Chungus.
thousands of Americans before them, taken too soon by Iranian radicals. Before I turn it over to General Kane for the operational update, let me speak straight to
I don't care
you,
about.
the Joint Force, our warriors on the front lines.
Oh wait, is this Raisin Cane that he's gonna throw to? The guy who didn't want to do the war?
This is your moment. This is the generational turning point America has waited for since 1979, and since the rudderless of hubris my generation, our generation, endured. Don't listen to the noise. Just stay focused. Our commander-in-chief is steady at the wheel. You face a determined enemy, but you are...
He's so steady at the wheel, but like I feel like his driver's license should have been taken away like at least 5 years ago.
are better. But we must prove it every single day. History doesn't care if we're tired, if we're scared, or if the fight feels big. It demands warriors who rise anyway. Peace through strength, the warrior ethos, lethality, unity of purpose. Those are not...
Dude, he's such a fucking loser. I just hate, I don't know, I just cannot stand listening to him. He's such a fucking dweeb, dude. He always just, like, everything that every name he comes up with, like, all the buzzwords that he uses just sounds like a, 5-year-old LARPing as, like, a military person. Like, I got DC'd.
Slogans. They're the beating heart of what it means to wear the uniform, that uniform. You think clearly under fire, you act decisively in chaos, you uphold the Constitution, and you uphold our country without hesitation. We are not defenders anymore. We are warriors.
Yeah, just got
trained to kill the enemy and break their will. History is watching. Be the force you swore an oath to be: focused, disciplined, lethal, and unbreakable.
I assumed that was you that was watching. I don't know if it shows, or I don't know where I look to find like who all's watching.
I do have you up. Yeah.
Yeah.
We will finish this on America First conditions of President Trump's choosing. Nobody else's, as it should be. And know this above all, President Trump and I have your back, always. Through fire, through criticism, through fake news, through everything. We unleash you because you
I
are
love
the best,
that little, all you guys. That was a good move.
most powerful, most lethal fighting force the world has ever seen. May Almighty God watch over you, and his providential arms
Allah.
of protection extend over you.
Praise Allah.
Godspeed, warriors.
Extend over
And
you.
keep going.
God, see what I'm saying? Like, he's such a dork.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and good morning, everyone. The purpose of my portion of the briefing today is to update you and the
I
American
don't care
people
about
on the
this,
actions
dude.
taken thus far. The briefing will discuss the preparation, the planning, setting the force.
Let's get back to
What is our
Kegsbreath.
exit strategy here?
You didn't see it, but like off screen, like he was like when they panned over to that dude, he was ripping shots like no other.
And when will it be deployed?
Well, they have long-range strike capabilities, which we are hyper-focused on. The brief we got just this morning, Admiral Cooper knows exactly and precisely what kind of...
Are we getting new cutscene?
Is home to such power.
Sorry, I gotta pause it for a second. There might be lore happening in my video game.
I'll put it to much better use. I've seen you, Windrunner. Always alone, pushing everyone.
I think
away
I've seen
to
this already.
embrace the hunt. Inevitably, the void consumes everything. I'm coming for all of you. You mortals are the most wrathful creatures in existence. Your hunger for violence is insatiable.
Sorry, one sec.
This stops now.
I'm pretty sure I've seen this. Okay, back to Kegsbreath.
threat matrix he's looking at. the way they might change their techniques and how we adapt to that. So we're making sure the theater commander has absolutely everything he needs. I mean, one of the things the
theater
mentioned is
commander,
for months and months, even before we built up, we ensured that we had maximum defensive capabilities in theater to allow the president the decision space in the
like what theater? Like, are they talking like Bye Bye Birdie or something? Like what do they mean?
future. So even before this build up in the last 30 days, we discreetly brought defensive assets in to make sure, understanding that there are Iranian capabilities. As far as time frame, I would never hang a time frame from our perspective. The commander-in-chief sets the op tempo in terms of this fight. As I said, it's on his terms, and we'll make sure that Admiral Cooper and his team have everything they need, not just to defend. I mean, the best defense is good offense. And so we're aggressively pushing into that airspace over that southern flank to ensure that we control it and we destroy anything that moves that would attempt. And ultimately, though, this tying it back to Midnight Hammer, the president has been willing to make a deal, project power against us and our allies in ways that.
Secretary Hegseth, thank you. Reagan Reese with the Daily Caller. Two questions for you. The president
Caller,
sent
I hardly know her.
a message that we will leave Iran when we complete all of our objectives. What are our objectives? Share more information on
Good question. That's something more people I think should be
how
asking.
the soldiers who were killed were killed.
Well, I laid out the objectives, as did the chairman. They're completely nested. I mean, Iran has an ability to project power against us and our allies in ways that we can't tolerate. So whether that's ballistic missiles and drones, so offensive capabilities,
AKA sovereignty. They have sovereignty, and we can't have that.
effectively their navy, which would attempt to set other terms and impose different costs, drone capability.
And they don't even really have like full sovereignty because of the sanctions shit, but like they at least have some semblance of saying no to the things we ask them, and so that's why we got to do this.
which we laid out there. And ultimately, though, this tying it back to Midnight Hammer, the president has been willing to make a deal. You can't have a nuclear bomb. Radical Islamists can't have a nuclear bomb that they wield against the world. He gave them every single opportunity. Then we precisely took it away. And even then, after that, they didn't have that. They didn't come to the table with a willingness to give it away. So ultimately, those nuclear ambitions.
Dude, they said how many times that they never wanted a nuclear bomb, and like, and they also like I heard they also offered them so many consolidations, whatever, you know what I mean, conciliatory things or whatever in the negotiations, and like they just never wanted to. They just never wanted to like agree to anything. America, I mean, didn't. Like Iran just wanted. They offered the whole world to America, and America said no.
Which never ceased, are something that had to be addressed as well. So that's a discrete sense of what's being addressed here to ensure that they can't use that conventional umbrella to continue a pursuit of nuclear ambitions. And then, as it pertains to the U.S. casualties, that particular incident was, you have air defenses, and the lots coming in, and you hit most of it, and we absolutely do. We have incredible air defenders. Every once in a while, you might have one, unfortunately, we call it a squirter that makes its way through.
A what? A squirter?
Defenders. Every once in a while, you might have one, unfortunately, we call it a squirter that makes its way through.
Okay, wait. I gotta know what he's saying. We're going back to regular speed.
And the lot's coming in, and you hit most of it, and we absolutely do. We have incredible air defenders. Every once in a while, you might have one, unfortunately, we call it a squirter that makes it.
A squirter? Is that what he's saying? I was joking about him being drunk for this conference, but I literally have no idea what he was trying to say.
Through, and in that particular case, it happened to hit a tactical operations center that was fortified, but these are powerful weapons.
Where was it?
We certainly will do, as I said, moments like that as we
was
remember
it in
them,
Israel?
and we take care of them and take care of their families, only stiffen our resolve to ensure that we.
God, dude, this guy, he looks bad, man. Like, not to go all appearancist on him, but like, I don't know, he is not aging gracefully.
We do this properly. Yep. Right here.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth. I had two questions for you. First, are there...
Andy Richter, that's who he looks like. I keep wondering, like, looking at this face and being like, who does this remind me of? Like, this is somebody I know, but I cannot think of it. He looks just like Andy Richter. Like, if Andy Richter lost, like 30 pounds and drank, like, 30 beers a day, like, this is what he would look like.
Currently any American boots on the ground in Iran?
No, but we're not going to go into the exercise of what we will or will not do. I think It's one of
It's
those
a secret.
fallacies
You
for a
gotta
long
keep it
time
a
that
secret.
this department or presidents or others should tell the American people this, and our enemies, by the way. Here's exactly what we'll do. Here's exactly how long we'll go. Here's exactly how far we'll go. Here's what we're willing to do and not do. It's foolishness.
It's
And so
foolish.
President Trump ensures that our enemies understand we'll go as far as we need to go to advance American interests.
It
We're
doesn't
not dumb
mean
about it.
anything.
You know,
That doesn't mean anything. We'll go as far as we need to get. Like, there's always a point that you would stop at. Like, I don't know. But it doesn't. They'll never admit like what they're like when they would stop. Like when they would be forced into capitulation, because that implies that there's a chance of that happening or whatever. And that's just normal. Like, you don't want to admit that, I guess, anyway. So.
You don't have to roll 200,000 people in there and stay for 20 years. We've proven that you can achieve objectives that advance American interests without being foolish about it. Now, will we...
Yeah, airstrikes. They've gotten regime change every single time. Every single time.
be bold about it? Are we willing to be decisive about it? Do we put months and months of planning into what kind of effects we want to achieve? Absolutely. But going forward, why in the world would we tell you, the enemy, anybody, what we will...
Fuck you.
will not do?
Fuck you,
Pursue the
news person.
objectives. We fight to win. We fight to achieve the objectives the President of the United States has laid out. And we will do so unapologetically. Thank
Is there
you.
any significance to Israel carrying
Yeah,
out the
regime
strike
change.
to kill the Ayatollah? And I wanted to know, what was your immediate
Significance.
reaction to
Who
finding
cares?
out about his killing?
I think Israel did a great job in the conduct
Ugh.
of that operation.
Trump put a 4-week
Here you go,
timeline
right
on
here,
it.
please.
What question was that? Significance of Israel doing it, or us? Like, who cares? Israel's just an extension of us. They're just the 51st state. Like, they don't. There's no difference between those two things.
Yeah.
You have one question you can ask here, and that's the question you asked. Ugh.
You mentioned during the briefing, General Kane, that there would be additional troops sent to the region. Could you say how many troops,
More troops?
currently are involved in this?
Or as I like to call them,
operation,
sitting
and how many
ducks?
additional troops are planned to go in this next phase?
I don't want to talk specifics because that would tip the enemy off. We have more tactical aviation flowing into theater just based on the time it took to get it out there. I think we're just about where we want to be in terms of total.
I mean, to be
combat.
fair, this administration is definitely the cringiest in terms of how they name things, and I don't know, like the Operation Midnight Hammer, Operation whatever this one was, Fire and Fury or whatever. I don't know, but they're pretty lame about it. But the military has always had cringe ass language for all of the shit that they say that they think sounds so cool and badass.
Combat capacity and total combat power for Admiral Cooper. One of the things, though, that a commander, he'll consistently assess the trajectory of the campaign. Is he on or off trajectory? And then make an ask of the joint force, which will then develop options for consideration
Who are
by
you?
the
I
Secretary
don't
and the
care.
President to either capability that we have over there.
I heard the question about 4 weeks. It's the typical NBC sort of gotcha type question. President Trump
4 weeks. What a gotcha. Just putting out there a length of time.
has
How
all the
gotcha.
latitude in the world to talk about how long it may or may not take. 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 6 weeks. It could move up. It could move back. We're going to
4
execute
weeks.
at his command.
2 weeks, 6 meets, 6 months, 6 years, 16 years. Any of those time frames. Whatever's necessary to accomplish our goals.
And the objectives we've set out to achieve, and what he has shown an ability to do that other presidents can't quite seem to have the aperture to do. Well, I mean, Joe Biden didn't even know what he was doing. Is to look
That's
for
true.
opportunities
That's true.
and
Fair
off-ramps
enough.
and escalations for the United
Got
States
him.
that creates new opportunities to execute what we need on our own timeline. So you can play games about 4 weeks, 5 weeks. He has all the latitude, and I'm glad he does, because there's no better communicator.
He's got all the
than
time in the world.
Expressing those things.
He's never gonna die.
I've been in meetings with the president for the last
He'll be leading this war in 10, 15 years, I swear.
2.5 days. We know exactly where his head's
Well, I guess I shouldn't be doing a Trump voice for Pete Hegseth, but
is, and he will communicate as he should exactly what he would like, and we will follow those orders. And I think everything he said on that is.
I think he kicked me out of my Dell.
Absolutely. Yes, right there. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Secretary. I left my hometown of Sakis in Iranian Kurdistan in 1996.
An Iranian
Can
expat.
you promise that I will be able to return home
Oh my gosh.
safely this year? And I have a following question, please.
I appreciate.
An Iranian expat just wants to go home, man. He just wants to go home.
The question.
He could have gone to Iran at any point. Like, what is he talking about? Like, unless he's an actual, like, dissident or something. Like, which, I mean, I don't know.
I'm not.
Maybe he
to
was.
place guarantees on that, but I think the message the president has.
Nah, you can't go back to like. Do you have any idea what this place is going to look like after we're through with it? Like, no way you're going back.
To the people of Iran, this is your moment. The world was seized by these crowds, and then seized by the reality of this regime killing tens of thousands of innocent protesters. So we saw the nature.
I think it was
of the
like
regime yet again
1100,
exposed.
but yeah.
We saw many of the Iranian people seek a change there. This is their moment to take advantage of it, for sure.
You served in Iraq and know that no American soldiers were killed in Kurdistan. The Kurdish people are very pro-American. Will you continue protect Kurdistan and Peshmerga as loyal ally?
How many? Okay, I'm done with this. Let's see what else we can watch. Let me refresh actually. Three U.S. jets. That is crazy. 3 U.S. jets were downed. According to the U.S., it was friendly fire, but you know, whether that's true or not, yeah, it remains to be seen. Let's see what Kyle has to say. If that's true, that's insane. Iran offered 0 enriched uranium. They shouldn't have. Yeah, well, whatever. I keep getting disconnected from WoW.
All right, guys.
But it's such a long video. I don't know if I want to watch the whole thing. We can watch Jeffrey Sachs on Breaking Point. I don't really like Jeffrey Sachs that much. I think he tries like to present himself as like being a populist or something nowadays, but we'll
Very excited now to be joined by our friend of the show, Professor Jeffrey Sachs. Good to see you, sir. Thank you so much for coming back.
Great to be with you.
I also don't like Sagar that much either, but
I wish it was under better circumstances. We did, of course, want to turn to you for a bigger picture of what this all means. Let's go and first start with our first element. Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu saying the quiet part out loud. He says, in bombing Iran, Israel has now the assistance of the United States, my friend, President Donald Trump, and the U.S. military. This coalition of forces allows us to do what I've yearned to do for 40 years. 40 years, yeah. It's a dream that the Prime Minister had.
Gearing up for this. They've been wanting this for, 40 years.
The alleged pretext about preemptive attacks, nuclear strikes, ballistic missiles. This is something that has been in the heart of the Bibi Netanyahu project. I just was wondering if you could react to that and frame your general thoughts around this entire regional war that has now erupted.
I hadn't seen that quote, but if he said it, what an asshole he is. I've been saying that for years. That this is his dream, his campaign. I've put it at 30 years, since 1996, a doctrine called clean break, which was a madman's document of a madman, Bibi Netanyahu, and his arch neocon extremist Zionist advisors in 1996 that basically was the blueprint for nonstop war in the Middle East. And now Netanyahu says what I've been saying. When I've been saying it, people have sometimes scoffed. But now I know it's a 40-year plan, not just a 30-year plan. The man is a psychopath. And this is the reality of it. We have been roped.
I mean, he is a psychopath, but
war. by these extreme Zionists, and we're now in an ever greater escalation to full regional war for the purpose of Israeli hegemony in the Middle East. Of course, it aligns with the madmen in Washington and Langley who want U.S. hegemony in the world, but that's what this is about. They don't count how many schoolgirls are dead. They couldn't care less. That's the whole point.
Yeah, no shit.
There's nothing in this about the dead. This is all madmen's delusions.
Let's go and put up E2 on the screen here. So Trump is saying now he wants to talk to the Iranians after assassinating, their supreme leader, bombing their country, and starting this war. He told the Atlantic, quote, "They want to talk. I've agreed to talk, so I will be talking to them." On the contrary, though, it does not appear that the Iranians want to talk for understandable reasons, especially after we used diplomacy now multiple times in a row as a ruse in order to attack their country. But what do you make of this outreach from President Trump, and also the relative silence from the administration after launching this war?
Trump's crazy. He may even believe this. But he's crazy, or he's psychopathic, or it's what's called the dark triad personality.
Here, I want to watch this video instead.
Joining us here in the studio to discuss these latest developments
Al
is
Jazeera.
Faisal Al-Mudaka, editor-in-chief at Gulf Times here in Qatar. Paul Musgrave is associate professor of government at Georgetown University, also in Qatar. And in Saudi Arabia's capital, Riyadh, we have Abdulaziz Al-Ghashyan, senior non-resident fellow at the Gulf International Forum. Gentlemen, thank you all for joining us. Some fast-moving developments these last few hours. Faisal, let me start with you. The Iranian strategy now seems to have shifted to targeting the Gulf region's energy assets, not just U.S. assets in the region. Just how dangerous a moment is this in your view?
I think the Iranian government have a disconnection from reality. They live in a bubble.
What's that supposed to mean?
And they think alone, and that's one thing. I want to refer on Araqji.
It's a good strategy. I don't know what he's talking about. Like they're targeting the stuff that will impose a cost on America. Like they're targeting the natural gas and oil like exports that would potentially, and not just America, also Europe, because Europe's already in an energy crisis. So if they do, if they hit these like things and they make or close the Strait of Hormuz or target some like of the Saudi oil fields or something, like it's like just the easiest way to impose cost on the American people and but also the Europeans.
Interview yesterday when he bombed Oman and bombed Qatar. And then he called the foreign ministers and telling them, well, this order has been done before. So are they working on a will? So my personal observation that there is a disconnection between the political party and the revolution
which is quite concerning, isn't it?
But like that might be the case, but America killed the entire political leadership. Like that's nobody's fault but like their own. Like, and you're the ones allied with America. Go talk to your boy, tell him not to do that.
Very concerning, because and again, imagine three layers of leaders has been
decapitated.
Oh, okay.
And then you have maybe the third layer layers are acting on a reckless. Going back to the energy, Iran have done this during the Iranian history, which they called it the Vassals' War, where they used oil. So it's part of their philosophy of using energy, and they're not hiding it. They are doing it. They said that we're going to close Hormuz. It's not the first time. So
yeah, they said that a long time ago.
They have this a very strange argument that we are targeting Qatar, but we are not targeting the base, even though His Highness, all the leader of the Gulf have insisted to the United States that this bases will not be used as a third party. But it seems that...
Okay, but like from Iran's perspective, like they know that's bullshit, and it's definitely bullshit. Like they are utilizing those bases, or if they're not, like if they are completely and totally evacuated, then it's like, well, it's still an American military asset in the region. Like it's a valid military target. They're gonna hit it, and like maybe you shouldn't have Like, if you really didn't want it to, like, affect your country and stuff, like, you made that call. You made that assessment when you did that. So,
there's a disconnection from reality or denial of reality.
Right. Abdulaziz, before I bring you in, I just want to show our viewers the energy installations and transport facilities Iran has targeted these last few hours. Explosions were reported at Ras Laffan Industrial City in Qatar. It houses 2 major LNG refineries as well as energy processing infrastructure. The Ras Tanura plant in Saudi Arabia is one of the world's largest oil refineries. It handles more than 500,000 barrels a day. And in Dubai, debris from an attack fell near Jebel Ali port, disrupting energy and logistics operations. In the Gulf of Oman, a projectile hit an oil tanker transporting crude, while another tanker caught fire after an attack in the Strait of Hormuz. Abdulaziz Al-Gashian in Riyadh, are we in a new escalation phase now with Iran targeting these energy infrastructures across the region?
Well, firstly, thank you very much for having me, and it's good to join you and join your guests. I would say we are heading towards we're heading towards that. You know, we're heading towards some sort of escalation, and it's unfortunately taking a trajectory that's not very healthy, and it's very concerning, and it's something that I think all GCC states wanted to avoid. There were I think the $1 million question that's been asked here, and I wonder if you all agree with me or not, but $1 million question that's been asked is really, what is the threshold of GCC states? What will it be for them to really enter into the operation and begin to attack Iran? And I think, to be honest with you, firstly, there is no real direct or clear-cut position on this. It will be very much of an assessment. Secondly, I think it will also be
I don't think that they'll get involved at all. That's just like, I don't know. I feel like that would be really dumb. You would essentially be painting a target on your back if you decided to like actively start participating in the like offensive attacks against Iran.
2 variables. One variable will be the duration of the war in itself, which today, listening to Donald Trump and the Secretary of War, the duration seems to be going on for some weeks, which is concerning, which means that these operations will continue. Secondly, I think the intensity of these operations by Iran to attack this infrastructure is another concern. These things seem to be increasing. We just don't know. However, I think if these operations...
I mean, I don't know if they'll keep increasing like for a long period of time, but like that's the smart move. Just keep ratcheting up the pressure.
We're going to increase.
Which shows that they still have at least some strategy. Like it's not just like pure chaos behind the scenes or whatever. Like the media seems to be portraying it as. They're kind of trying to portray Iran as just like completely lost its mind, you know, just throwing everything at the wall immediately. But like they're doing pretty like consistently timed like lobs of missiles and stuff. Like I think they're still very much trying to ration their missiles for, you know, a long period of time. 60 to 90 days is what they said. And they'll probably want to be able to become more intense and less intense and more intense and less intense. Like that's kind of what they did on a shorter time scale during the 12-day war.
Then we're going to see a sort of GCC forward defense, some sort of operation where they will go and will try to assert deterrence and try to basically signal and create a precedent of defense that.
Well, I do not understand what they're gonna do. I don't know how the whole bargain that they had was that America will come in and protect them, like, and America's not doing that. Like, so like I don't really get like. What are you going to do to Iran that America and Israel aren't already doing? That doesn't really make any sense to me.
If Iran, since, you know, all these things that I think the Iranian regime is doing is signaling some sort of precedence that they will take action if they are hit, we, the GCC, also have to create some sort of precedence that this cannot be tolerated. So I think this is the discussion and the dilemma that we're facing now.
Let's bring in Paul Musgrave. What do you make of what Abdulaziz said there? And what do you think? He asked an important question. What is the threshold for GCC countries now that their assets, their infrastructure is directly being hit by Iran?
Well, I think that there's a lot of steps that Gulf states can take before they directly engage in the U.S.-Israeli war. For one, just as Britain is now allowing its bases to be used against missile launchers and missile sites in Iran, GCC states might want to consider allowing the U.S. to
okay, Britain's officially a part of the war then, like
use bases and airfields here, which are already.
But let's be real, like I am absolutely sure they already were. They definitely provided some sort of assistance for these operations. That it always, every single time, it comes out after the fact that they were
being attacked to carry out similar missions. They could also re-intensify their ability to bring in external powers. We heard Prime Minister Starmer saying that Gulf leaders had lobbied him to have Britain take a more active role. And of course, they can intensify their diplomatic efforts. But taking a direct role in this war would breach yet another red line. And I think that's something that people would be very, very cautious about.
Faisal, your thoughts. What is the red line for Gulf states, and how do they respond to Iranian attacks? I mean, they have to, at some point, defend themselves, right? But how do they defend themselves without directly getting involved into the conflict?
It's not our war. This is not our war.
Yeah, they won't.
This is Israel and Iran war and the United States. And I think even between Israel and the United States, they have a different objective. Netanyahu is another a guy who lives in a bubble, who has a philosophy of Israel the Grand, and he has his own going from war to war and creating. He is as the Iranian part of this chaos. The U.S. I think and the Gulf share this. Nuclear weapon, and I think if you go back to the Omani deal, it's better than Obama. The Gulf shares the dialogue and peace. We are not into war. 50 years of chaos in this region. Iran can be better. They have oil, they have gas. I mean, they should go back to reality. That's what
Qatar has been a key mediator.
Just capitulate. That's their solution. Something's going wrong with my keybinds on this quest. I guess I'll try just doing it here.
In the talks, and a key mediator in this region. Are they, Faisal, lines of communication open right now between the Iranians and Qatar? And is there still hope to de-escalate as far as the Qataris?
I think after this plain diplomacy is always open. I'm not an official, but I know going back, we seen the bad side from Israel and Iran, right? In Qatar here. The problem that each time we reach to a deal, which was, historical wise, and Hamas, Qatar have stopped the 12 days war. I think the gate of diplomacy is open. The GCC, there are 6 countries, they share the same objective.
Yeah, but your objective isn't the same as America's objective, and America's objective is the only one that matters. So, you guys just got to be ready to, take those hits.
I think
that's what you're there for. You're pawns of America. So you're here to take these hits. So take them.
It is possible. It is possible.
Abdulaziz, do you agree with that? Are the gates of diplomacy still open as far as Saudi Arabia is concerned?
Well, I think when it comes to, first, I just want to say before I answer that question, I agree with a great deal of what was said before. I think what the Saudis and the ruling elites in the Gulf monarchies have in their advantage is wisdom, forbearance, and restraint. And I think this is going to be exercised to the maximum. I think when it comes to the open door diplomacy or the diplomacy, I think diplomacy, we have seen in the region that it is an essential tool of security. Not necessarily out of love and not necessarily out of just trying to really seek out as any kind of normative approach, but diplomacy, and this rapprochement that preceded this, the era that we're finding ourselves in now, was really motivated by security. So I think that will not change. What I do think will change will be the mode of diplomacy. I think before, there was a diplomatic rapprochement, at least from the Saudi perspective, of really engaging Iran and knowing that Iran, trying to accommodate some of the security anxieties that Iran had. Now, I think Saudi Arabia invested a great deal of effort and energy in that process. A process
I'm sure they did.
That one can
I'm
say
sure they
was
did.
akin to a psychologist treating some sort of...
Saudi Arabia wanted to avoid this, and so did all the other Gulf nations. But, like, they need to start asking themselves, like, if they cannot control America and they cannot control Israel, like, and they, you know, they can't, like, get them to not do this, then do they really want to continue being allied with us? Like, do they really want to continue having our bases on their soil? Like, the entire calculus, I think, for them, in theory, should be changing right now. A lot of these countries have, you know, all the political power concentrated near, like, the very tippity top. They're either monarchies or, you know, heavily autocratic or like oligarchical. But then again, we are too to some extent. So, but yeah, like, I think that their calculus must be changing, because if they don't, like, their people must be pissed as hell right now that they got dragged into this for having these military bases on their country, like on their land. And if they cannot, like, get this over with soon, or, like, in some way reduce that pressure valve, like, there's possibility of revolts, like, you know, full Arab Spring uprisings. Like, I don't know, like, I just think that they have to, at this point in time, just be thinking, like, man, we really thought America would have, you know, protected us, but they're not.
Patient with severe anxiety disorder. You know, it was a very meticulous process. But I think now the Saudis and others are very furious that all that diplomacy was upended. And it was upended, just to speak to what the gentleman, both gentlemen were saying earlier. It was not only because of Iran, it was also because of the strikes of Israel and the United States.
Indeed.
This is why they were lobbying hard before, not to do this.
Right.
So right now, I think there's going to be a posture that's going to be more geared, or diplomacy that's going to be more geared towards de-escalation, keeping threats at bay, but also an international diplomacy that's going to try to galvanize people, isolate Iran.
What international diplomacy is he talking? Which one? Like, is he talking the UN, or is he talking the new UN, the Board of Peace? Like, which one is? Where do they go now?
Diplomatically, or apply pressure on it, but also increase its posture in the region. And I think...
Also, I think it would have been so funny, like the funniest thing in the world, if they actually gave the Nobel Peace Prize to Donald Trump, like, a couple months ago. Like, can you imagine that juxtaposition of, like, oh, he got the Nobel Peace, like, going down in history? Like, that would be so funny.
Personally, we are heading towards a gradual militarization, because the assertion of deterrence is not going to be via alliances. I think it's going to be via capabilities. And I think this is where we're heading now.
Gentlemen, I want to play you a short soundbite of President Trump, who spoke a little while ago for the first time since the operation.
Let's see what my president has to say. My big, beautiful boy.
He says that the U.S. plans for Iran were ahead of schedule. Let's take a listen.
Somebody said today, they said, oh, well, if the president wants to do it really quickly, after that he'll get bored. I don't get bored. There's nothing boring about this. Do you agree with that, Pete? I don't think there's anything, Mr. General.
I'm not bored.
There's nothing boring about it.
I'm never bored, Mr. President.
From the media, I think he'll get bored after about a week or two. No, we don't get bored. I never get bored.
I never get bored.
I wouldn't be standing here right now.
Speaking of bored, have you guys heard of this Board of Peace?
Guarantee you that.
Okay, thanks guys, I'll be here all night.
To go through what I had to go through. We also projected 4 weeks to terminate the military leadership, and as you know, that was done in about an hour, so we're ahead of schedule there.
Congrats.
Paul Musgrave, did you get a sense from President Trump there that he had a clear game plan, a longer-term plan?
No.
No, I don't think he does.
No, he has no idea what he's doing.
From President Trump, from Defense Secretary.
He has no idea what he's doing. He thought that it was going to be over like that. Like, he thought it was just like Venezuela, just like, I don't know, any of these other middle powers that he could just like bully around. And to some extent, the last time it was. But like this time, Iran's like, well, you're just gonna keep doing this shit if we don't do anything. So we got to do something. And so, yeah, he had no plan whatsoever for what would happen. You know, if they said, oh, actually, we don't want to have a ceasefire.
Secretary Hegseth, we've seen the United States open the door to potentially having boots on the ground, which initially was something the United States would not
Let's
have.
go.
The timeline
Iraq
has lengthened
2.0.
from 2 weeks to 4 weeks, maybe 5. President Trump has said that the greatest strikes are ahead of us.
I don't even know how they would do it, really. Like, Iran would, I mean, I'm sure that we could, but like, just finding a place to like land your troops or whatever, I feel like would be, I guess I don't know how they would do it. Maybe they would come from the land, actually. I don't know.
And he offered several different rationales for what's going on, from the nuclear program to sinking the Iranian Navy. This does not say to me there's a single plan.
Do Gulf countries have the leverage with the Trump administration right now to tell him basically, you need to hold the brakes here. We need to reassess the situation.
What leverage would
Do
they
have
have?
enough leverage at this point?
I think the Gulf...
Like the amount of money that they've donated to, like, that they've just given him, like, in, you know, behind the scenes dealings. Like, have they, like, do they need to offer a couple more golden jets? Like, how are they getting this leverage?
States have a lot of leverage. I don't think that anyone has the leverage to stop the United States right now. Stopping this...
If the price is right, I'll stop. If the price is right, I'll stop the war. Just 2 more golden jets and the war's over like that.
Would be difficult politically for the president. What they can do is incline the United States to do certain things instead of others, to build a coalition, to maybe change the targeting set, change the order of those priorities. Because one of the things that we living here in the Gulf have realized is that Iran's conventional capabilities are pretty fierce on themselves, and moving towards something that degrades those capabilities might be in the interests of the people living here, and also might push toward a ceasefire or an acceptable outcome for all parties.
All right, Faisal, what leverage do Gulf countries, does a country like Qatar have today to de-escalate this situation?
The North Field. North Field, the stop of the North Field, it became
This is a gas pipeline that Iran and Qatar share, of course.
It fueled Japan, it fueled China.
How is this? Are they talking about Iran's leverage, or are they saying their leverage? Like, Iran, yeah, they could strike that and like get rid of one more source of oil and like raise the prices again or whatever. But like, I don't understand how that is this guy's leverage.
It's already creating a world crisis. This field and also Ras Tanur, this never happened since 1973. Are the U.S. is ready to push it for 90 days to increase, and with the inflation we have? I don't think Netanyahu will supply some gas to the world. So this is very, very critical moment. Secondly, I think things to watch also is President Putin calling His Highness and condoning the Iranian, which is the biggest ally of Iran.
Indeed.
So those 2 things, I think, can change the reality and change the schedule. All
right, Abdulaziz Al-Ghashan in Riyadh, your final thought. What leverage do Gulf countries have today to de-escalate this situation, and can it be de-escalated?
In my opinion, and I'll make this very brief, I think the leverage that the Gulf states have is really trying to leverage their ability to invest in the United States.
There it is. Just got to give a few more bribes, a few $1 billion, and he'll stop the war.
To be a hub in the region of investment and facilitating investment worldwide. I think this is precise.
Are they going to want to invest if this is the risk that like comes along with investing in these places?
Where the leverage is. But this has to be delivered in a manner and communicated in a manner that kind of necessitates regional security. This is precisely, I think, the approach that they will try to use. This is the leverage that they, I think, have. And I think by communicating to Donald Trump and telling him, listen, you have, you're someone who likes to do business And this is really not good business for us, which means it's not good business for you. And I think that's the angle that where people will use their leverage that we have here.
All right, Abdulaziz Al Gashian in Riyadh, thank you very much for taking you.
We're going to go to another Al Jazeera video, but before that, I got to use the bathroom. Still nobody. Okay, let's see what Lil Marco has to say.
Now to the U.S. Secretary of State in Washington, D.C., Marco Rubio, who's speaking.
Field commanders, it was automatic, and in fact it bared to be true, because in fact within an hour of the initial attack on the leadership compound, the missile forces in the south and in the north, for that matter, had already been activated to launch. In fact, those had already been pre-positioned. The third is the assessment that was made that if we stood and waited for that attack to come first before we hit them, we would suffer much higher casualties. And so the president made the very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an...
Wait, are they going to say that they actually knew that there was going to be an attack?
Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And
oh, okay, so that's how it's preemptive for us. We did a preemptive strike after Israel's preemptive strike. So Israel did the first preemptive strike, right? Iran was going to attack Israel. And so then Israel did the first preemptive strike. But then America, before Iran could, respond to Israel, America then knew that Iran was actually going to immediately attack Americans. And so America did the second preemptive strike. So the order of operations: Israel does a preemptive strike, America does a preemptive strike, and then finally Iran's original attack that they had been planning to launch regardless of those preemptive strikes went off. That's how it happened, I think.
And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act. Going back to the purpose of this is to destroy that missile capability. Why does Iran want that ballistic missile capability? What they are
to stop this shit from happening.
Trying to do, and have been trying to do for a very long time, is build a conventional weapons capability as a shield where they can hide behind. Meaning,
notoriously offensive weapon, a shield. What is, dude? Like, they're creating a shield to hide behind. Like, you should have used any other analogy, like a sword or like a crossbow or something. I don't know. Like, you chose the one piece of weaponry, or like armor, I guess, that is just known for protecting people.
Come a point where they have so many conventional missiles, so many drones, and it can inflict so much damage that no one can do anything about their nuclear program. That is what they were trying to do, is put themselves in a place of immunity where the damage they could inflict on the region would be so high that no one can do anything about their nuclear program or their nuclear ambitions. They are producing, by some estimates, over
apparently it wasn't high enough, though. Apparently they needed a little bit more deterrence because clearly this happened. So maybe if they had, just a little tiny nuke, maybe they could have, maybe we wouldn't have fucked with them so much. But
100 of these missiles a month. Compare that to the 6 or 7 interceptors that can be built a month. They can build 100 of these a month, not to mention the thousands of one-way attack drones that they also have. They've been doing this for a very long time, and by the way, they've been doing it under sanction. You see the
yeah, it's pretty impressive, honestly.
They're attacking airports. They're attacking hotels.
Like, this amount of destructive capability when they've been sanctioned, like, to all hell for the past, like, I mean, I guess primarily since last Trump administration when he tore up the deal, but, like, this amount of productive capability under sanctions is kind of a minor miracle. Like, it's very impressive that they were able to build this many missiles and this many drones.
Not just military bases, they're attacking our embassies directly. They're attacking facilities that have nothing to do with war or with military, and that's a weakened Iran. That's an Iran despite years of sanction. Imagine a year from now, or a year and a half from now, the capabilities they would have to inflict damage on us. It's an unacceptable risk, especially in the hands of a regime that's run by radical clerics.
On us? Who's us? Like, do you think they're going to get intercontinental ballistic missiles? Like, I don't know. I'm assuming they mean Israel.
The Ayatollah was a radical cleric. That entire
maybe he's still alive. He slipped up.
Radical clerics.
Maybe he's hanging out with Epstein over in Israel. I don't know.
Who don't make geopolitical decisions. They make decisions on the basis of theology, their view of theology, which is an apocalyptic one. That has to be taken very seriously.
Again, like I say, this is so funny coming from him because I can't remember. He might be Catholic, but like so many Americans are Christian Zionists who literally believe that like we need to allow Israel to bring in the end times. Like that's like the basis of their political understanding. Like every single thing that they say is just projection. It's so crazy.
As well. So that was the purpose for what this operation is all about. That's what it's focused on. As the president said earlier today, it is on or ahead of schedule. I will defer to the Department of War to discuss the progress being made at a tactical level, but it was the right decision and an important decision for the safety and security of the world.
Personal resources. Does Congress have to weigh in? Does Congress have to be the one to declare war? If only, man, you know, it'd be crazy. Like if only we had written down all of the rules of the country somewhere. Like, oh God, if we could have just like gotten like a big sheet of paper and like written down all of the rules of the country, then we could like go back and look at them and be like, oh, Congress, oh yeah, it's Congress that's supposed to declare war, not the president, not the executive branch. Man, we really messed up by not creating something. Like, what would we call it? Maybe like it constitutes a bunch of things, right? Like it constitutes all of the rules, like all of the rules of the, like maybe we should call it like the Constitution or something. Like that would be, I think that would have been a great idea that they should have done.
No. There absolutely was an imminent threat, and the imminent threat was that we knew that if Iran was attacked, and we believed they would be attacked, that they would immediately come after us. And we were not going to sit there and absorb a blow before we responded. Because the Department of War assessed that if we did that,
this is such loophole ass logic. Like, technically, Iran was going to respond to us if Israel attacked, so we preemptive strike them because like we knew Israel was going to attack. Like they might have broken the law, but we definitely knew they were going to respond to us, so we had to preemptive strike at the same time.
Them to hit us first after they were attacked.
Like they should become lawyers, man, instead of doing this. Like a lot less people would die if they just became like dweeby little lawyers.
And by someone else, Israel attacked them, they hit us first, and we waited for them to hit us, we would suffer more casualties and more deaths. We went proactively in a defensive way to prevent them from inflicting higher damage. Had we not done so, there would have been hearings on Capitol Hill about how we knew that this was going to happen, and we didn't act preemptively to prevent more casualties and more loss of life. No, first of all, let me two things I would say. Number one is, no matter what, ultimately this operation needed to happen. That's the question of why now. But this operation needed to happen because Iran in about a year or a year and a half would cross the line of immunity, meaning they would have so many short-range missiles, so many drones, that no one could do anything about it because they could hold the whole world hostage. Look at the damage they're doing now. And this is a weakened Iran. Imagine a year from now. So that had to happen.
Did we already hear this? He said the same thing.
We were aware of Israeli intentions and understood what that would mean for us, and we had to be prepared to act as a result of it. But this had to happen no matter what.
President Trump said overnight that his top choices to now run Iran were killed in the strikes. Does the United States have a firm plan for how they intend to handle this power vacuum in Iran to ensure that an Iron hardliner does not take power?
So two things, and two things can be true. Number one is our mission and our focus is the destruction of their ballistic missile capabilities and their ability to manufacture them, as well as the threat posed by their Navy to global shipping. That's our objective. That said, we would not mind, we would not be heartbroken, and we hope that the Iranian people can overthrow this government and establish a new future for that country. We would love for that to be possible. But the objective of this mission is the destruction of their ballistic missile capabilities and of their...
They're already tamping down that expectation. I think they're just kind of, like, that reasoning served its purpose. It's gone now.
Naval capabilities.
So are you saying, based on that, are you saying that there is no responsibility, no plan for the U.S. to play a role in
no plan?
We might. We'll see how circumstances play out. But I'm telling you what the objectives of this operation are. The objectives of this operation are to...
Oof. All the neoliberals right there. They're just like, oh no. We thought you were going to install a puppet regime. What are you doing?
Destroy their ballistic missile capability and make sure they can't rebuild it. And make sure that they can't hide behind that to have a nuclear program. That's the objective of the mission. That said, abundantly clear, we would love for there to be an Iran that's not governed by radical Shia clerics. As I've said myself repeatedly for years, the leadership of that country does not reflect the people of Iran, and I think that's been pretty apparent in the protests that you've seen.
Dude, while all this is going on, like, all of these other countries that have been fucked with, like, they need to, like, start just, like, sending oil to Cuba, like, now. Like, America is too bogged down. Like, this is your chance. Get some oil to Cuba as soon as possible. They need that shit. Like, like, what are you doing?
If there's something we can do to help them down the road,
this is like the one benefit of like an empire overextending itself and lashing out is like you can like take your opportunities to go, go help all of the other countries we've fucked around with, like China. Please send Cuba some oil.
To be open to it, but that's not the objective. The objective of this mission is the destruction of their ballistic missile capability.
Regime change has not gone well for the United States.
The what now?
Regime change has not gone well for the United States.
You can say that again.
Many decades. How do you assure the American public that things will not get worse for the next regime that comes in and replaces the
Well, we would love to see this regime be replaced. And ultimately, as the president has said, he calls... No, but let me finish my answer. As the president has said, he would love for the people of Iran to use this as an opportunity to rise up and remove these leaders. They've been wanting to remove them from a long time. We've seen successive waves of protests, and we've seen them slaughter people, okay? But the objective of this mission is to make sure they don't have these weapons that can threaten us and our allies in the region. That's why we're doing what we're doing now. And while we would love to see a new regime, the bottom line is no matter who governs that country a year from now, they're not going to have these ballistic missiles and they're not going to have these drones to threaten us. That's the objective of this mission, is to deny them the ability to use ballistic missiles to threaten their neighbors, to threaten our bases, to threaten our presence in the region, and ultimately as a shield behind which they can do whatever they want with their nuclear weapons ambition. We were not going to let them hide behind that, and that's why this was such a critical mission to undertake now while they were at the weakest point, and not a year from now where they could inflict even more damage and perhaps already be behind that point of immunity.
I don't understand that logic either. They're saying that Iran is going to become stronger and stronger in the future. Like they're just going to keep getting stronger and stronger and getting more and more missiles to the point that they'll be unstoppable. But yet they're currently at their weakest moment. Like, were they not getting stronger and stronger the whole time before? Why didn't you do this 5 years ago? Why didn't you do this 10 years ago? Like, that's just a dumb reasoning for, like, that's a nonsensical answer.
Go right here behind. Go you and then you. Yes.
Your critics in Congress have said that they should have a role. They should be able to weigh in here, and there are going to be war powers resolutions votes in Congress later this week. Why not notify Congress?
I'm curious how that's going to go. The war powers resolution, like, I would guess, like. It might pass at this point because this war already seems to be so unpopular. Like they might not want to be on record being in support of the war, like already. because usually it takes a little while for a war to become so unpopular that like it's embarrassing to have your name associated with it. But this one is like right off the bat, it feels like it's incredibly unpopular.
Congress ahead of this, and does Congress?
Well, we did. We notified Congress. I mean, we notified the Gang of Eight. We notified congressional leadership.
We
There's no
notified
law
them.
that requires us to do that. The law says we have to notify them 48 hours after beginning hostilities. We've done that. I think the notification went today. But we did notify members of Congress in advance. But we can't notify.
We sent out a
535
push
members of
notification.
Congress.
We sent a push notification out to all of the Congress members that said, "Going to war today, fire emoji," and they said, "Oh, okay, cool."
Well, the Congress can vote on whatever they want, but there's no law that requires us to do that. And I want to say something because I see people on TV. Look, that's fine. If they want to take a war powers vote, they can do that. They've done that. They've done that a bunch of times. But there's no, people keep saying that there's no law that requires the president to have done anything in regards to this. To begin with,
Just
no
the Constitution.
presidential administration has ever accepted the War Powers Act as constitutional. Not Republican presidents, not Democratic presidents.
I mean,
that
that's
said,
true.
We have followed the notification at 48 hours.
It's been pretty bipartisan to just go to war whenever the president, whenever the State Department says so, regardless of what Congress says. But like, it definitely is the law, though.
And we're here today. I've done more Gang of Eight briefings than I got in the 4 years that Biden was president and I was a member of the Gang of Eight. All of that said, we've complied with the law 100%, and we're going to continue to comply with it. We've done the notification, and
you really got to limit the amount of times you say Gang of Eight, like in a conversation, because like the first time you kind of let it slide, but then afterwards it gets more and more cringe every time they say it.
We officially to Congress, but we did notify members of Congress. We just can't notify 535 people. That's not possible.
It's not possible.
We did the Gang of Eight twice. I briefed.
It's not possible to notify 525 people. Like. I mean, I'm pretty sure that YouTube has a thing that like you can notify like hundreds of thousands of people that you're like going live, And I think going to war is a little bit more important than going live. Like they should really develop some sort of like push notification system so that they can notify all the members of Congress.
I briefed them last week, and then I called them the night before the operation.
Strike on a building in southern Iran. The Iranians saying it's a school, reports of large numbers of civilians, including children killed.
Yeah, I've seen those reports. I would refer you, not because I'm not trying to answer your question, but I don't want to get it wrong. The Department of War would be investigating that if that was our strike. War. And I would refer your question to them, and I'll make sure they're aware that you have that question. But we'd like to know. Well, clearly, the United States would not deliberately target a school. Our objectives are missiles, both the ability to make...
Never. We would never do that. We leave all our dirty work to Israel. They do that shit.
manufacture them and the ability to launch them, and the one-way attract drones. That would be our focus, and that's what we would be focused on. We would have no interest and, frankly, no incentive to target civilian infrastructure. The Iranians are, on the other hand, targeting civilian infrastructure. I'm sure you've seen it. They're hitting hotels. They're hitting embassies. They're hitting airports.
To be fair, they have said that like military members were evacuated to those hotels. Whether they should be doing that or not is, I don't know, but but that is their like justification. And like again, war criminals can't like accuse others of war crimes. Like it just doesn't hold any water. Like it's not a compelling argument.
They're hitting oil infrastructure. Well, it'd be very tragic, but I can't speak to the details behind it because I just don't have it. It would be a tragic outcome if it's happened. I don't have the details as to what led to it. But what is clear is that the United States would not deliberately target a school. They are, on the other hand, deliberately targeting civilians, as you've seen, because you know why? They are a terroristic regime.
They're like children, dude. It's like whatever you say, I'm bubblegum, you're glue, whatever you say bounces off me, sticks to you. Like they just keep saying like, no you, no you, no you.
They sponsor terrorism and they participate in terrorism.
Americans who are concerned about rising energy prices given the spiking of oil prices?
I'm concerned.
Yes, and we knew that going in would be a factor, and so we have a program in place that will begin to be implemented by Secretary Wright, Secretary Besson. We talked about it last night, again, about this program. We talked this morning, and starting tomorrow, you will see us rolling out those phases to try to mitigate against that. Obviously, markets are going to be reacting.
Yeah, right, dude. This is just face saving. Like, there's nothing they're gonna do. They're not gonna help the working class at all. Like, what are they gonna give some sort of like gas stipend or send out some Trump checks? No, they're not gonna do. They're not gonna do anything. We're not gonna get like any sort of relief from oil prices. We're not gonna get any sort of relief from energy prices. Like, I don't know. That's silly. Like, they might do something to help the like importers or like the oil like oligarchs and stuff, but I don't think we're gonna see any relief.
To news about what's happening. And again, a reminder, think about it, okay? This terroristic regime led by radical clerics has the ability potentially.
Can we just drop the whole word terrorism at this point? Like, it's lost all meaning. Like, I don't know. It's a pointless term. I've always thought it was a pointless term, but especially now it's a pointless term. Like, it's still, I think, it's still, a lot of people, I think, still get triggered to, like, you know, be rah-rah America whenever they hear the word terrorism, but it quite honestly is just like replacement for the word savage that was used before. Like, so it's just our violence good, your violence bad. Like, again, no you sort of shit. Like, that, like, I just hope that one day it just continues to lose all meaning and eventually gets retired from the vocabulary of all of these warmongers.
To shut off 20% of global energy. That's the kind of leverage they have because of their Navy. We're going to destroy their Navy. But there is a plan in place. We anticipated this could be an issue, and Secretary Wright and Besson will begin to roll out those steps starting tomorrow.
It's always funny how they always have a plan, but they never say what the plan is.
To mitigate against the impact that could have. I got to do this briefing, so I got a couple more. Yeah.
He's a busy boy.
Putting boots on the ground, and how long do you anticipate the conflict to last?
Well, let me say two things about it. Number one, the president always has the options to undertake whatever operations he decides to do as the commander-in-chief. That said, we believe the objective that we have set for this mission, which is the destruction of their ballistic missile capabilities, both launch capability and manufacturing, can be achieved without ground forces. Right now, we're not postured for ground forces, but obviously the president has those options. He's never going to rule out anything. But right now, our focus is on the destruction of their ballistic missile launchers, their ballistic missile stockpiles, and their ballistic missile manufacturing capability, as well as their one-way attract drones and their Navy, because of the threat it poses to global shipping.
Okay. I'm done with Lil Marco now. Let's check in with our fellas at the Jeffrey Epstein Experience, and after this, I'll probably call it.
A podcast, but that's my job. I don't know how many conversations
I do love me an American Redux video.
I'd be having with people who I was politically opposed to or ideologically opposed to.
Sorry, jump scare alert. RFK Jr.
Know how they think. I don't know how many opportunities I would ever even get to do that.
What you're doing is so important, and now there's 1,000.
That's our Department of Health representative right there, guys. Just a beacon of health. He's basically just TRT and, I don't know, hot dog juice at this point.
Really good.
Like TRT hot dog juice, like inside of a hot dog skin, though.
Podcast.
All right, so it looks like Joe Question Everything Rogan has, yet again, invited someone onto his show who was once directly connected with Epstein and failed to mention the Epstein connection or even the files in general during the entire 2.5-hour podcast.
He cannot
which is
talk
pretty
about it.
Interesting, being that Joe Rogan spoke about that topic with every single one of his guests since the files were released about a month ago, including RFK Jr.'s very own wife, Cheryl Hines.
I did not know that this lady, by the way, was RFK's wife.
Including RFK Jr.
I only knew her from that one show. Oh my god, what's it called? The Larry David Show. Oh, okay, I'll think of it.
Very own wife, Cheryl Hines. But I guess when a guy who admitted to flying on Epstein's planes multiple times comes onto the show, Joe suddenly loses interest in the largest conspiracy.
My brain's leaking like RFK's.
Drop of the decade, and has more pressing issues to talk about with a guy who once personally knew Jeffrey Epstein.
And the fact that people on the left weren't outraged when they read the Twitter files and found out how much involvement there was in silencing real
the Twitter files. Dude, get over it. So that was like a minor news story like 5 years ago. Like, who cares about the Twitter files?
To be removed from Instagram, I lost 1 million followers.
Insane.
And so this is most likely done by design, as Joe's show has become more and more like a government-sanctioned propaganda factory. It's almost like there's a set of bullet points Joe's sticking to here to make RFK Jr. look good, and it's completely pathetic. Because before the Epstein files dropped, RFK Jr. was completely fine with talking about his past flights with Epstein and how he went fossil hunting with a guy back in the 90s, as his defense was...
This is the funniest thumbnail.
And how he went fossil hunting with a
did he make this? Did American read this? Is hilarious.
Guy back in the 90s, as his defense was always that nobody knew about Epstein's nefarious ways before 2006.
Okay, but give the context, obviously, to the Epstein thing, because you basically got out ahead of the...
So first of all, I'm in New York for most of my life.
Yeah.
So, and you run into everybody in New York. I mean, I knew Harvey Weinstein. I knew Roger Ailes. I knew O.J. Simpson came to my house. Bill Cosby came to my house.
You also knew good people.
Yeah, I did know a lot of them, but, you don't know these people until all this...
Wait, what?
He came to my house.
You also knew good people.
Yeah, he's like, stop talking about it. It's like, well, there was this rapist who came to my house. There was this rapist who came to my house. There was this rapist that came to my house. Like, dude, yeah, you knew good people too, right? Like all your friends weren't rapists, right?
I did know a lot of them, but, you don't know these people are swamp creatures until all this stuff comes out. My plane rides with Jeffrey Epstein, I took 2 plane rides with him. My wife knew his girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, and of course, I ran across Jeffrey Epstein at parties, at fundraisers.
They're all in the same club, dude.
Fundraiser in New York.
So if this JRE podcast was done before the files dropped, RFK would have certainly brought up the connection himself right away. But the fact that neither of them talked about perhaps the biggest headline of the year, even for a second, really raises some questions. And it just makes this email chain in the Epstein files that much creepier. Where Jeffrey, after learning that RFK Jr.'s previous wife was found hanging in her backyard, responded to that message with, "Whoops." So for Joe to not even question that, or for RFK Jr. to not even bring whoops. So for
whoops. That's a big oops, dude. Mary Kennedy found dead in her backyard. Whoops. That's great.
Much creepier. Where Jeffrey, after learning that RFK Jr.'s previous wife was found hanging in her backyard, responded to that message with, "Whoops." So for Joe to not even question that, or for RFK Jr. to not even bring it up and clear the air like he did so gleefully before, certainly makes everything look a little more dark. Like, what on earth could...
The amount of weird deaths surrounding Epstein as well, before, back in the day, of, random, people like this just being found dead or whatever, something that probably should have been looked into a while ago, but...
Whoops even mean? I guess on the Jeffrey Epstein Experience podcast, they just don't talk about that sort of thing anymore. Instead, they'd rather spend time talking about how great the United States of America is, and how much better we are than the UK.
Are they in army fatigues, dude? Like, what?
We're RFK Jr.
Isn't that stolen valor? Were they stealing valor right there?
And Rogan spent some time talking about the UK's arrests over social media posts, which is completely ironic being that the UK is also the only country to actually arrest someone.
Also, we arrest people for our social media posts. We detain people for our social media posts, which is worse than an arrest because then you're not like obligated all of the same procedures that an American citizen does.
Connected to the Epstein files.
12,000 arrests is crazy. That's a crazy amount of people go to jail for social media posts.
The framers of the Constitution put free speech was everything to them, and they put it in the first.
I do not understand free speech, dude.
Rights and guarantees were dependent on it. If you have a government that can silence its opponents, it has a license.
And again, we're doing the same shit.
I mean, when you're living in a world where the government has the power to dictate what's real and what's not real, and they don't have an
wait, the
obligation
wheel's turning.
You got a real problem.
The wheel's turning.
There's no consequences for them being
It's turning. He's coming. He's turned woke. He's getting it.
They've gotten away with something that's real slippery and real dangerous. And when there's a lot of money involved and a lot of businesses involved.
He got it. He got it. I was waiting for him to break, though. I was waiting for him to like say something stupid at the end of it, but from that one clip, I guess Joe Rogan finally understands.
Other government has the power to dictate what's real and not real, and has no obligation to be correct. You know, it's almost like Joe's describing his beloved administration to a T here, and the iron grip it has on his very podcast. But of course he won't bring that up with someone who's literally in the administration and in the files. I mean, Joe's even admitted on his podcast recently that he's been losing sleep over everything that's happening. Almost as if he's realizing in real time how much of a bad decision it was to defend these guys to.
I can't really tell how stupid Joe Rogan is. Like, I can't tell like how much he is actually aware that all of his friends now are pedophile billionaires and like he's, you know, like a bad guy for associating with them, or if he is like straight up just like unable to like form a critical thought and like think like and even figure that out, like think for 1 second that, oh, he might be a part of the same club.
Tooth and nail. Like there's just no way to make them look good anymore. But unlike Tim Dillon and Andrew Schultz, who have actually flip-flopped recently and started calling out everything wrong that the current administration is doing, from Kash Patel burning taxpayers' money on vacation trips to Milan, to Pam Bondi only releasing half the files, and Peter Attia stepping down from CBS due to his ties to Epstein, Joe hasn't mentioned any of that because he's simply in this thing way deeper than his other comedian pals. I mean, Joe's allegedly having phone calls with Trump every other week these days. So he's in past the point of no return, and is fully compromised at this point. So as a result, he's now losing sleep over it.
That's the guy I watch.
I get scared by AI clips on Instagram.
Bro, I'm scared of everything. I have to fucking stay offline.
I know.
I'm reading too much of the news, and it's overwhelming me. Like sometimes at nighttime, like I can't wind down.
Yeah.
It's just like there's too much news. There's
too much news.
We're about to go to war with Iran.
I know.
Like
we're already there.
Everyone's eating beef jerky.
He's talking about
pizza.
us.
Like what are these what the fuck is pizza?
I know.
You know, how far does this go? How come this never got released before? Like what is happening?
That's a good point, by the way. That's something that it should have been released a long time ago. Like, and the Democrats should have released it when Biden was in charge. But to be fair, like Biden was basically unconscious his entire presidency, so like he might not have even known that they existed.
Deep down inside, Joe desperately wants to call out everything wrong with the Trump administration, just like Andrew Schultz and Tim Dillon are right now. But being that Joe's puppet strings are
don't believe them, by the way. Those two people, like they're just charlatans. They'll just go wherever the wind blows. That's where they'll be.
And another, he really just can't. Like he doesn't push back on anything RFK Jr. says in this entire podcast. He really just gives him a smooth joyride like the rest of the pro-war officials he's had on recently. So being that his free speech is ironically being suppressed in these particular podcast episodes.
Dude, 2013 was a different time. Let me pull that back up again. Hopefully someone's suggesting authorization now for Iran. The Congress would do it first, and also Jeffrey Epstein. I've said this before, and I said it again. I think he was like borderline retarded. Like I don't know 100%, but like I've heard him talk so many times. He is very, very dumb, or maybe he's dyslexic or something. But like I don't know. But also, this is just like so quaint. Like, hopefully someone suggests getting authorization now for Iran. Like, remember back when people, even the billionaires, thought you had to get authorization from Congress to go to war with Iran? Ah, those were the days.
That his free speech is ironically being suppressed in these particular podcast episodes. As a result, Joe's been taking his anger out on easier targets lately, like poor Jamie Vernon, for example, who's the producer of the show and at one point in time would fact-check Joe on just about everything, actually fell victim to one of Joe's temper tantrums recently when he tried to fact-check Joe's idiotic belief that the players in the recent Super Bowl...
I kept thinking they were saying fat check. I was like, what are they talking? They're saying fact check.
Actually lost money after the championship because of a supposed jock tax. And so when Jamie tries to fact check him on this, Joe just gets...
Wait, what? Sorry, I wasn't paying enough attention to this. I was too focused on fat check.
Like poor Jamie Vernon, for example, who's the producer of the show and at one point in time would fact-check Joe on just about everything, actually fell victim to one of Joe's temper tantrums recently when he tried to fact-check Joe's idiotic belief that the players in the recent Super Bowl actually lost money after the championship because of a supposed jock tax.
What?
And so when Jamie tries to fact-check
How would
on
anybody
this,
believe
Joe
that?
gets super...
How does any... dude, how are people this stupid? Like, how does anyone hear that and not think that this is just obviously like slopaganda? Like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Super furious with him.
Professionally. Did you see what they just did to the guys that won the Super Bowl? You see the jock tax?
Yeah.
Jamie, you see the jock tax?
Yeah, it's not a new thing though.
I understand.
It's not?
I understand, but it's specific to California.
What? Okay, let's see
and
what they say
this
about
jock
this.
tax in California, they were some of the players lost money playing.
The reason that I immediately clock this as bullshit is because it is just like so like you know a bunch of white men who will just hear that and get, well, I guess just men probably in general, but who will hear that and be like, how dare they tax us? Like, we're supposed to be masculine. We're supposed to be strong and alpha. That's the way the world is. And all of them are like, you know, just sitting at their computer, like keyboard warriors haven't set foot outside in like 10 years. But like that, that they would just see that and be like, oh, it's like they just hate men for being men or whatever. And like, if you can't hear that and just be like, obviously this is fake, like obviously this is just perfectly designed to make a certain subsect of the American population angry, like, I don't know, you gotta crawl out of whatever hole you're living in, man. It's gotta be lonely down there.
Oh no, it is true.
I don't think so.
No, it is true. I went it through AI last night. No, it was in. They pulled it up on Grok, and people analyzed it.
Grok has never told a lie. All hail Grok.
It's based. No, Jamie. Jamie. It's based on the 7 days that they had to be there. So you have to pay a fee based on the 7 days, dependent upon what your salary is.
They played a game
so
there
it's a
in
percentage.
January, though, too.
Okay.
Maybe this year.
Okay, with whatever. Well, the Super Bowl.
Whatever.
Specifically, these guys. Jamie's so funny.
I know, but this is one of those things that's not real.
What do you mean? I told you it was wrong.
I read it through Grok. How can you tell me it's not real? Grok said it was real.
Last night. He made $178,000 for the Super Bowl. He had to pay $200,000.
Did you know that Grok's used by the military? Would they use a system that like hallucinates and just makes up shit?
$49,000 in tax. I'm pretty sure those are the numbers. And it's based on the fact that he was there for 7
How much?
I'm pretty sure those pay $249,000 in tax. I'm pretty sure those are the numbers. And it's based on the fact that he was there for 7 days.
Joe's also been taking his anger out on Mark Maron recently too, who's a comedian who called Joe out on several different podcasts last year. And he recently did so again, which I just covered on my Patreon. So real quick here, if you want to support the channel, click the link down below and check that video out, because it really shows you how Joe's displacing his frustration with the administration on easier targets now. I mean, he just cannot give guys like RFK Jr. any form of criticism, as he's entirely
His face is melting
crisp at this very point in time. And you know, now that we're at a...
And he's wearing a Black Rifle coffee shirt. My God, dude. Like, it's just... I assume that's the Black Rifle coffee or whatever, that conservative coffee brand that spun up. Is that even still around?
He cooked to a crisp at this very point in time. And you know, now that we're at a full-scale war with Iran...
That is what that is, right? Black Rifle coffee. Veteran founded. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just veteran founded. Maybe I'm getting it confused with like that Chud coffee brand. I can't remember what it was. If it's just veteran founded, that's fine, but...
And you really wonder what Joe's gonna say about it, if he even will at all. Because once upon a time, not too long ago, Joe was bought in on Trump being a peaceful, anti-war president that would bring peace to the entire world. Like after Trump won the election, Joe would just go on and on with his guests about how...
Look at Barron, dude. Look at Barron. He's like... Dude, I can't with this guy. He's literally looks like Slender Man. Like, this is...
Trump wanted to end all...
Also, stop with rich people, man. They always pull their hair back. So much oil.
Wars in the world.
That haircut, that haircut's about to go up 50% with how much, like, the oil prices are going to skyrocket.
Well, it seems to be a part of what he wants to accomplish in these 4 years, is that he wants to go down as having made significant change in the world in a positive direction.
Well, he's got part of that down. He did make significant change in the world. It's just not a positive direction.
Whether people want to admit
we
it or
are?
not.
That's part of the problem because of narratives.
That's it. You know, peace between India and Pakistan doesn't
Pakistan's so peaceful right now. I think they're at war with Afghanistan.
fit in the Democratic Party's narrative that Donald Trump is a warmonger. He's not a warmonger.
Whoa.
So now that Trump's doing a full-blown attack on Iran at this very moment, you wonder if Rogan will have anything critical to say about that decision.
I'm curious. I'm curious if he's going to even mention it, or if he's just going to pretend like we're not at war with Iran.
Since, as you just saw, he was once under the assumption that Trump was a peace-first president. And so, just to save you guys some time, spoiler alert, he probably won't. Especially since the attack happened over the weekend, which conveniently gives Joe just enough time to gather all the bullet points on why it's actually a good thing that we're going to war. So even though Joe probably hates that Trump's contradicting everything
real?
he campaigned with,
Stolen valor,
Joe really
man.
can't speak up about it, and will indeed be taking out that frustration on innocent people like he has been doing more of recently. Look, I don't know if you guys saw this
Where are my chuds at? They gotta go get him for stolen valor.
or not, but just the other week, Joe lost his cool with his guest, Roger Avery, who was simply trying to entertain the fun little conspiracy theory that the Earth is flat, which is completely
so
ridiculous nowadays and has been debunked several times, but it was almost like Roger Avery thought Joe would entertain it at least a little bit.
Take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt, but the big one, the biggest
Big one.
conspiracy theory that freaks
The
everybody
biggest.
out is flat Earth. Now, I don't know what the Earth is, but
I don't know what the
from
Earth
the
is.
testimony of the eyes. it
I
is
mean,
flat.
that's true. Like, what is the Earth? Like, you could go real, hyper real. It's like a ball of, asteroids that collided billions of years ago and eventually got big enough to become, a molten ball of rock that eventually filled with an atmosphere and rain and water, and then, land, and then a bunch of animals, and then us. Like, that's like the hyper real version of Earth, but it's like metaphysical, man.
And there is very little chance that I will ever in my life, or
I don't
most
know what
of
I'm
us
talking
will
about.
ever in our life experience anything other than what is effectively
To be fair, he doesn't know what he's talking about either.
flat Earth.
But being that Joe's completely turned sour nowadays, he instantly shuts down Roger Avery in a pretty tense and awkward way,
let's hear
interrupting
this.
him all over the place and in general being a negative Nancy about the entire thing.
From my perspective in life, it is nothing but it's a flat Earth.
But what about travel routes? Like, what about when they fly over Antarctica? What if they...
Well, they don't fly over.
Well, you can
Antarctica.
watch the sun rise and fall.
They don't even fly from Cape down to Buenos
Joe
Aires.
He's being such a party pooper.
Of the
Joe Rogan's like world of conspiracies that he's allowed to. If he's not, I don't understand why he doesn't entertain this. Like, this is a perfect thing to talk about, to like not have to talk about the Epstein files. He should be loving this shit.
They travel up into the other hemisphere and like land in London or something, and then travel back down whenever you're doing a flight across the Atlantic. And so, like, when you look at it on a flat Earth map, and there are plenty
there's
of them,
satellite photographs of Earth from space.
those are all cartoons.
What are you talking about?
I'm saying that even the NASA, the guys who actually do those composites, those are composite imagery of. Listen, I am not saying that.
But it seems like
you're saying. It sounds like you're saying it.
I'm saying experientially.
Right,
from
but
your
that's a scale.
From your daily
It's such a little sourpuss nowadays.
We're a tiny
Joe
little
Rogan.
thing on an enormous thing.
Correct.
But you know, snipers have to calculate for the curvature of
only the curvature of the landscape that they're on.
Right. Why do you think the landscape curves?
The landscape doesn't curve. It is a mountainous and uneven.
Not always.
Uneven,
no. On flat plains, you have to do the same thing.
Well,
if you're making a long shot over a flat area, like if you had to shoot.
Dude, he's really, I think he hates this dude. Why does he hate this guy so much? He's being such a little negative boyo.
Why don't pilots make adjustments?
I'm not a pilot. I don't know, but I do know that when you look at
navigation maps always
the film
say,
from the space station,
presume a flat Earth.
When you look at the film from the space
surface.
station, you see an Earth that's not just round but spinning.
So yeah, pretty out of character for Joe to just out of nowhere shut down a fun little topic that Roger Avery, of all people, wanted to semi-jokingly talk to Joe about. It's almost like there's something that Joe's battling on the inside here. And this little internal war he's having has in turn made him absolutely zero fun to be around or even talk to.
This is live footage from the space station.
And I'm saying that that's lens. And I'm saying that's lens curvature, and that what you're actually seeing.
Why do you think that's lens curvature?
And that what you're seeing is horizon.
So what you're talking about is like
I'm saying
a fisheye
if I'm trying
lens.
to provoke you, that's what I'm saying.
Right, but let's not do that right now because I don't want you to be completely fucking insane. Because this is a round body, just like the moon, just like Mars, just like Jupiter, just like Uranus.
That appears.
All the ones that
How does anybody watch this anymore, man?
But in your practical life experience, you have to accept a certain amount of faith.
But
I mean, maybe it's just the worst aspects or like the most negative aspects of it, but like this is so boring.
Understand the precession of the equinoxes.
So just an overall pretty disappointing podcast that a lot of people weren't too surprised by. Like Joe talked to RFK Jr. just like he talked to Epstein's old private chef, Adam Perry Lang, as he failed to mention the files or anyone involved in them even once, which
of course
more and
not.
more seems to be
Joe Rogan's a part of the club.
Like as every episode passes, Joe just seems more and more like a state-run right-wing media outlet that censors way more than he would have in the past.
Yeah, he's an asset. He's an asset of the State Department.
So much so that
duh.
It's even transferred over to his official subreddit. So real quick here, I'd just like to give a big shame on you to all the moderators there, as they're now banning anybody talking about politics and Joe's connections with these nefarious figures. I mean, the unnecessary
yeah, they're getting the live stream fails treatment over there on that subreddit.
Control. And it's almost like the mods there are directly on Joe's payroll. And honestly, I hope that's the case. Because if they aren't, then they're doing some of the most pathetic shoe-licking for free. Like Reddit mods have always been notorious power trippers, but it's just on a whole other level on that sub right now. And as a result, they're losing members just as fast as Joe is now too. Like I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but on all the charts except for Spotify's, the Joe Rogan Experience podcast sits
Number 5. He's falling off.
So he's definitely plateauing.
Pod Save America is beating you, Joe. Uh-oh. Those libs, they're beating the shit out of you. You gotta step it up. You gotta beat them.
I covered that topic more on Patreon, so again, go check that out and support the channel if you want. But with that being said, thanks so much for watching.
Thank you, American Reader.
It is
Are you watching me right now? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. The only viewer again was my wife. Hopefully someday I'll get one other person in here. Bye-bye.